The NFL season is here, and we've got your Week 1 DraftKings lineups for cash and GPP, along with some tools to help you not only for Week 1, but for every single week coming up next. Hey everyone, I'm Michael Kurtzman.
And I'm Eric Lee. We are the Fantasy Football Consultants. And Michael, I cannot wait to see NFL football.
I know, man. It's been such a long wait.
Yeah, so we're going to give you our cash game lineup first, but right now we wanted to tell you really briefly a couple of tools which will not only help you to make your Week 1 picks, but will help you throughout the season. First of all, if you haven't yet checked out our NFL DFS Master Class, it's a 9-course series all about how to be making the right picks, whether it's a cash game or GPP, and specific shows on strategy to make the correct selections for quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, and defense. You got to check it out. We've gotten really great responses so far, and it'll really empower you to know what are the factors you should consider when you're building cash and GPP lineups. The other tool that we're really excited that we're able to partner with Chris from Draft Dashboard. He has a great product that, what do they say, Michael? Time is money, right, in life?
Yeah.
This is going to save you a lot of time so you can make really good picks, because it gathers all the key factors that we talk about in the NFL DFS Master Class and inputs them into the draft dashboard so you can make really good picks. It is $34.95 a month. However, with the link in the description, if you click on that, you will be eligible for a trial offer to try it for 30 days at the low price of $1. So we really suggest you check it out.
Yeah, and on that note, we are currently running a NFL Survivor Cup. All you got to do is create a CBS account, click the link in the description to enter. It's free, and if you win, you get a free $250. So I highly suggest you guys check it out.
Yeah, and you guys know we're still a small channel, so your odds to win are much higher than these other places where, you know, you're going against literally thousands and thousands of people. That won't be the case in our pool. So plus, we're going to give shout outs and things throughout the season about who's left in the pool. It's just a lot of fun. So make sure you check out that video. I'll put the link. That video has all of the information that you need to sign up for the Survivor pool. All righty. Speaking of pools, Michael, we're going to run on this DraftKings show for the first 10 weeks of the season a qualifying contest. How does that qualifying contest work? Each week, we're going to have 4 qualifiers. And how do you qualify? It's simple. Enter 3 things into the YouTube comment section. The 3 things are, this week, the top quarterback on the main slate, only quarterbacks on the main slate, not named Lamar Jackson. That would be too easy of a pick. That's going to score the most based on DraftKings scoring. In the event of a tie, pick a second quarterback you think that will score a lot of points. And by the way, if it ever gets to be a tie at that point, that tiebreaker will go to whoever entered their pick first in the YouTube comment section. So get those picks in early, and don't forget to put your DK username so we can enter it. What is all this qualifying for the first 10 weeks? Because in week 11 and week 12, as long as the NFL season isn't delayed at all, we are going to have a contest for $50 each week. So the total prize pool is $100. The highest finisher on DraftKings, you'll put a full lineup in out of all those qualifiers, which will be about 40, will win $50. And you get to do it again in week 12 for another $50. So I'm looking forward to that. Enough preamble, Michael. Let's get to week 1 in the NFL DFS on DraftKings. We are ready to get started with our cash game week 1 lineup. So this is cash. We're looking for that high floor. And according to our NFL DFS Master Class, what position do we like to start with, Michael?
The running back, the position that returns the most value and if an injury happens, the position where you can save a ton and still get a really high value.
Yeah, and I'm always drawn to Christian McCaffrey, but that $10,000 price tag is just too much for me, Michael. So I'm going to go down to $3,700 less in Miles Sanders. What do I like about Miles Sanders? What's not to like? He's still the lead back. He plays on a Philadelphia team that is favored, a 25 implied total, which I really like. And I'll click on him here. You know, Miles Sanders, look what he did to Philadelphia in the last time that, the last time he played. Just 19 carries for 122 yards and a TD and 6 catches for 50 yards. You know, he just completely went off. He's a guy who I have confidence in as long as he's playing. So the one caveat I would give is you got to stay close to the late breaking news and make sure that not only he's playing, but that he's not on any type of pitch count. But the latest news in here says they expect that Miles Sanders will be available for Week 13. So we're plugging him in our lineup at a really, really reasonable $6,300 price. Where's he going in drafts, Michael?
He's going second round, middle of the second round.
Yeah, so this is a great pick because he's in a great matchup. All right, so my other running back, Mark Ingram, and it's not my fault, it's DraftKings' fault. They are the ones who priced him at only $5,500 for the lead back on the Ravens, the same Ravens team that has the highest implied total on the main slate. I hope everybody heard that. The Baltimore Ravens have the highest implied total on the main slate. They are over a touchdown favorite over the Browns. So Las Vegas thinks they're going to get well ahead, and Mark Ingram should get the call to run the ball in protecting that lead. Now, I hear what a lot of you guys may be saying, and I say it a lot too. Mark Ingram is going to share carries. He's going to share carries with Lamar Jackson. He's going to share carries with Gus the Bus. He will also share carries with their rookie. But if there ever was a game that you should be able to rely, that the Ravens will rely on their veteran, it should be this game with Mark Ingram. No preseason. He knows the offense. I'm very confident with Mark Ingram, especially at this $5,500 price.
Yeah, definitely.
How about wide receivers, Michael? Where we go from there?
Well, for wide receiver number 1, we chose Chris Godwin of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The game's over-under is 49.5. That's the highest scoring game on the slate. And he gets 8.5 targets a game, which you can round up to 9, which is really quite impressive. And on a Bucs team where Brady can't throw deep, he threw under 10 passes deep last year. On a Bucs team that Brady can't throw deep, he runs those short routes, so he'll just be a great value pick. And DraftKings is PPR, so each reception is an extra point that you can just tack on. And not to mention that last year, Marshawn Lattimore covered Mike Evans, and I have no reason to think that that'll change this year. And Chris Godwin always does his best when they're versing shutdown corner teams, and the Saints are one of those.
Yeah, not only did he cover Michael Evans, he blanket covered. He literally shut him out the last time, one of the times that they played. And guess what? Who was the beneficiary the last time that Tampa Bay played at New Orleans? It was Chris Godwin. 7 catches for 125 yards and 2 TDs. We're really excited about this pick. The other pick that we're excited about at wide receiver, we're going to save a little money here, is Terry McLaurin at only $5,600. And I love the matchup. He plays a Philadelphia Eagles team that specifically, not just Washington, Mclaren completely exposed last year. Week 15, when he played at home against Philadelphia, 5 catches for 130 yards and a TD. And what about the other game that they played at Philadelphia? Well, 5 catches for 125 yards and 1 TD. seems like we got a trend here with Terry McLaurin. Add that to the fact that Washington football team, not only do they not have a mascot, they don't have a running back. Darius Geis was cut. Adrian Peterson is cut. He's now in Detroit. So I don't know if they'll be able to rely on the run as much, especially given that Philadelphia has a very good front line. I'm comfortable that Washington is going to be forced to throw, and I have no doubt their number one target in the passing game will be Terry McLaurin.
Yes, definitely. And for wide receiver number 3, we went with Allen Robinson. Now his over-unders 44, which is pretty good. But the big catch is the fact that he gets 10 targets per game. That's 5th best in the NFL. And not to mention that last year Detroit was last in the league in passing, and that's when they had Darius Slay. Now Darius Slay's on the Eagles. Who's going to cover Allen Robinson? I think he'll just have a field day, and he'll just run, and he'll just catch the ball all over them. And to put the cherry on top, David Montgomery's injured, so they're going to have to rely on the passing game to even really score.
Yeah. So from here, I think we can kind of gauge how we're doing. We spent some money, Michael, at $4,750 is left for the remaining players. But I'm going to be like Congress. I'm still going to spend money. In our flex, I am going to really pay up to get who I think is the second best wide receiver in the game. No, that's not Julio Jones. That is Devontae Adams at 7,300. Look, I love Michael Thomas, and I think Michael Thomas is going to do great this week. But I can get Devontae Adams at a discount over Michael Thomas of $1,700. I am going to take that every day and twice on Sundays, as the saying goes. I don't really need to tell you why I like Devontae Adams, do you? I mean, he's by far and clearly the number one target on Green Bay. Who else do they have that Aaron Rodgers really trusts in that passing game? And guess what wide receiver has had the most success against them in the past? It's Devontae Adams. Look what he's done to him. Week 16, 13 catches. That's not a misprint. 13 catches for 116 yards. They played him earlier in the year. Let's see. Right, there it is. 7 catches for 106 yards. So really happy to be able to fit in, one way or the other, Devontae Adams into our lineup. All right. Sorry, Michael. I just spent a whole lot of money on Devontae Adams. We only can spend an average of $3,900 on our remaining 3 spots. See if you can save us some money at tight end.
All right. I've got a great option for you. Hayden Hurst of the Atlanta Falcons. The implied total is 24, so that's pretty good, right? But the main thing is that Atlanta always features their tight ends in their offense. They're a main part of it, whether it's on the goal line or just pass catching in general. Last year, through the first 12 games, Austin Hooper led all tight ends in fantasy points. But then after week 12, he got injured. And not to mention that tight ends are system players, so you always want to get a tight end that's in a system that features tight ends. And to put the cherry on top, Seattle is the second worst in the entire NFL at covering tight ends.
Yeah, we like this pick because you simply need to make sure that you get exposure to 2 games this week. And they're both in the Dome. They're the 2 highest scoring games. We got Chris Godwin in for the New Orleans game. You got to get some exposure to this Seattle-Atlanta game, and that's what Hayden Hurst does. So great job, Michael. I like that pick. All right, we got to pick a quarterback with only $7,400 left, Michael. We can't even afford LaShawn Jackson, and that doesn't even count that we haven't picked the defense yet. So obviously we've got to go cheaper, but we planned this, folks. We planned this, and for many reasons, we always say paying up for a quarterback is a luxury, not a requirement. And we don't have the luxury to pay up for a quarterback given this lineup. But there's a quarterback where we really like at only $5,400. That's it, only $5,400. And that quarterback is Mitch Travinsky. Now, Michael, it was hard for me to say that I like Mitchell Travinsky. Because to be honest, in general, I do not. He's not the most accurate quarterback. I fully admit that. And it's something that I would normally like out of my daily fantasy quarterback. But there is truly a lot to like. Here's the thing. They brought in Nick Foles. They paid in big money for Nick Foles. And according to the preseason reports, Travinsky has looked really good, so good, he is going to be the first week 1 starter. So I like that. And I absolutely love this matchup against Detroit. For some of the same reasons why we like Allen Robinson, we like Mitchell Travinsky. Check out that passing defensive rank, 32. There's only 32 teams in the NFL. So Detroit finished dead last. And as Michael said, Darius Slay is now gone. So he should have plenty of opportunity to throw the ball in the dome without the noise of the crowd, no fans, to be really successful. Not only that, I have doubt about how successful the Bears will be on the ground. Why? Because David Montgomery is officially out for week 1. So I just am not so sure how well their running game will go. So on that note, I am signing up Mitchell Trubisky and giving him the news.
I want you to be on my team.
So there we go.
Well, that I never thought I'd hear anyone say, but I mean, I support it.
Just keep looking at that price tag that we got him for. To make you feel a little bit better and anyone else a little bit better, just check out the game log. When was the last time? How did Mitchell Trubisky do the last time he played at Detroit? 29 for 38, 338 yards, and 3 TDs. Now, do I'm saying he's going to do that well this week? Well, probably not. But hey, I'll take even 75% of that and feel really, really good at this particular price. So we have a whopping $2,000. Let me see if the fans out there can guess who will end up being our defense. There's only 2 options. All right, enough of that. Michael, release the suspense and tell us who's our defense that we're going with.
All right. And the defense that we're going with is the Washington football team. Now, do we like this defense? No. Is it the cheapest defense? Yes. So we had to settle with them. And defense is pretty unpredictable. You never know when a strip sack that gets taken to the house is going to happen or a pick 6. And at their price point, they had 43 sacks, which is really good for the $2,000 that you're paying for them. And we don't like this pick, like I said earlier, but paying up for a defense is usually not a good idea. And that's why we picked them last, because we feel that defense is not as important as, say, the other positions. And the money that we saved from not paying up for a defense, we could put towards players that we think will make a more important role in helping us win.
So now let's switch gears and let's talk about GPP.
So now this is our GPP lineup, as you can see on the screen. And Eric, how did we come up with this stack for GPP?
Yeah, so according to our NFL DFS Master Class, we're always looking for a high ceiling when we're talking about GPP. And every lineup has to start with a stack. And why not pick a stack from the highest implied total on the main slate? That's Baltimore. So I'm going to go with Lamar Jackson at quarterback, who individually always has the highest ceiling of any quarterback because what he can do with his legs. But let's match him with his number 1 targeted wide receiver in Hollywood Brown at a ridiculously low $5,100 price. And then coming back the other way in the same game, I think Cleveland's going to have to throw the ball to keep up with Baltimore, is a now healthy Beckham Jr. I'm really excited to see him at only $5,900.
Yeah, I definitely especially like that because he was injured all of last year, and that drove down his price. And now that he's healthy, the value there is just massive for his price. All right, now looking at running backs, we already went over Miles Sanders, but why Josh Jacobs?
Yeah, Josh Jacobs, I think, has a very large ceiling here playing against Carolina. Look, I think Carolina is one of the worst three teams. They're one of the bottom three teams in the NFL. And I think Las Vegas should win this game. They're favored by a little bit, but I think that my projection is they're going to take this game. And given that, Josh Jacobs, if his team is ahead, they're going to keep running the ball with him. He's also their goal line back. Really see a high ceiling for him.
All right, yeah. So going over wide receivers, we already went over Beckham and Hollywood Brown. So why Deshaun Jackson? After all, he is pretty old.
Yeah, and he's pretty run down, right? He got injured last year, but he's healthy now. And I'm not asking you to pick Deshaun Jackson in your keeper league. Just look at what he did last year. He only played one full game. Guess who it was against? Washington. He went completely off. 8 receptions for 154 yards and 2 TDs. Am I telling you he's guaranteed to do this? Of course not. It's one of the reasons why we did not have him in the cash game. But I am telling you he has the potential to do that. He's one of these wide receivers that always has high air yards. That's the ones that you want to target in GPP because if they go off, they really go off. I think Deshaun Jackson at a sub $5,000 price has a terrific ceiling.
Yeah, the value's definitely there. And now looking over at tight ends, we have Ian Thomas.
Speaking of values, look, for his price, he has an incredible ceiling. You just got to make sure, just like Miles Sanders, that he's good to go by game time. But he is projected as of time of taping that he should be ready to play. And if he does, he's the number 1 tight end on Carolina, remember. Greg Olsen is in Seattle. And he didn't get much opportunity last year with Greg Olsen on the roster. But when he did get an opportunity, he took full advantage of it. Now, in GPP, for your tight end to pay off value, he basically has to get a touchdown to give you that good GPP value. Ian Thomas is a guy that has a great goal line presence. He had 5 passes thrown his way inside the 10 in limited action last year. Guess what? He caught all 5 for 4 TDs. So let's slate Ian Thomas in the lineup.
All right, yes. And for our flex, we already went over Devontae Adams, who we think is a very good pick, second best wide receiver, and we don't need to go over that anymore. And now for defense, it's the New York Jets.
Yeah, the Jets defense, not much to talk about. We paid down again on defense. Look, I like Josh Allen. He's a good player, but he's also a younger guy who runs the ball around there, sometimes makes ill-advised passes. This is an opportunity that the Jets could potentially get that pick 6 or get a fumble recovery. So we're taking a chance here, and we're saving money with the New York Jets. Okay, everybody, that'll do it for our GPP lineup. We want to remind you guys, when you're watching us prepare our cash lineup or GPP lineup, if there's an individual player that you don't like, no worries. Slide that player out and put your guy in. There's no requirement that you use every player that we pick. We just like giving you a full lineup. A lot of channels don't do that, so you can see how a full lineup is constructed. All right, so if you made it this far in the video, do us a favor, smash the like button. And then if you have not yet, what are you doing? Please hit that red subscriber button and followed by the bell icon. That'll notify you of future videos.
Yes, and every time you subscribe, it truly helps the channel and helps us grow.
And we would like to wish everyone good luck for week 1. And no matter how your lineups do, enjoy NFL football. We finally get it. So until next week, we will see you next time.
Good luck and see you next time.